Hey, I'm Daniel Whitford, and I need to tell you something I wish someone had told me a year ago. I spent 8 months competing with thousands of strangers on freelance marketplaces, underbidding myself into the ground just to make rent, and it nearly broke me. I'm 54. I got laid off from a communications director role after 19 years. And like a lot of people my age, I thought, okay, I've got skills. I'll just go on lane and freelance. So I signed up for Upwork and Fiverr and a couple of others, and I started bidding on projects. And you know what happened? Nothing, or worse than nothing. I'd spend an hour writing a proposal, a really good proposal, and I'd get outbid by someone charging $8 for work I was quoting at $50. And the client would pick the $8 person every single time. After 3 months, I'd earned $410 total. And I'd spent probably 200 hours writing proposals, doing sample work, and refreshing my notifications like a slot machine. That's about $2 an hour. And I remember sitting here one night, scrolling through job listings at 1 a.m., and I saw a posting that said, looking for experienced marketing strategist. Budget, $15. $15 for a full strategy. And I almost applied. That's how desperate I was. And that's when I realized this isn't working. This will never work. Because on these platforms, I'm not selling my expertise. I'm selling my time at a discount to compete with the entire planet. And I'm losing. So I stopped. I closed my laptop. And I sat here in the dark for a long time. And I thought about my career. 19 years. I built brand campaigns that won awards. I managed teams of 15 people. I presented to C-suite executives. I flew to conferences and spoke on stages. And now I was begging strangers on the internet to pay me $15 for work that used to earn me six figures. Something had to change. Not just the tactics, the whole approach. And that's what I want to share with you today. The approach I pivoted to, because it's working. Slowly, but it's working. And I think it can work for you too. But first, let me tell you what I mean and why this matters more than just money. When I was on those freelance platforms, I felt invisible. Which is funny, because I also felt invisible at work for the last few years before I got laid off. But this was different. On the platforms, I was literally a name in a list of hundreds. No face, no story, just a bid. And there was this guy I used to see in the freelancer forums. His name was Gene. He was 58, former graphic designer, 25 years of experience, beautiful portfolio. And Gene was charging $20 for logo designs, because that's what the platform had beaten him down to. And he was working 12, 14 hours a day. And he told me once in a comment thread, I made more per hour bagging groceries in college. And Gene isn't unusual. That's the norm on those platforms if you're over 50, because the algorithm doesn't care about your experience. It cares about your price. And there's always someone younger, somewhere cheaper, willing to do it for less. So here's what I figured out. Instead of selling my time 1 hour at a time to strangers who don't know me and don't care, I needed to build something. Something that works while I sleep. Something that compounds. Something where people come to me because they trust me, not because I'm the cheapest bid in the queue. And that's what I've been doing for the last 6 months. Let me show you. The first thing I did was start a YouTube channel, which is what you're watching right now. And I know what you're thinking. YouTube? At 54? Who's going to watch that? That's exactly what I thought. But I started anyway, because I'd been watching other people my age talk about what they were going through. The layoffs, the rejection, the fear, and their videos had thousands of views. And the comments were full of people saying, I thought I was the only one. So I made my first video. It was terrible. I was sitting at this same table, talking into my phone, and I rambled for 20 minutes. But I posted it, and people watched. Not a lot at first, maybe 40 views. But the comments got me. Someone wrote, I'm 56 and I haven't told anyone I was laid off. Thank you for making me feel less ashamed. And I thought, okay, this is real. I kept going. I made another video and another, and each one got a little better. And I started to notice something. People weren't just watching, they were emailing me, asking for advice, telling me about their situations. A woman named Rebecca, 53, former project manager, told me she'd watched my video 3 times because it was the first time she didn't feel crazy for being scared. And that's when I understood what YouTube really is. It's not just a platform, it's a trust engine. When someone watches you talk for 10 or 15 minutes, they feel like they know you. And when people feel like they know you, they want to work with you. They want to buy from you. They want to support what you're building. That never happens on a freelance marketplace. On those platforms, you're a commodity. On YouTube, you're a person. I got monetized 2 months ago, and I've made about $380 in ad revenue so far, which isn't a lot, but that's not really the point. The point is that in every video I make sends people to everything else I'm doing. And that's the shift. Instead of chasing individual gigs, I'm building an audience. And that audience is the foundation for everything else. If you're outside the US, YouTube works everywhere. But ad rates are higher in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. So your revenue will depend on where your viewers are. The second thing I started, and this is the one I'm most excited about, is Substack. Substack is a platform where you write a newsletter and people can subscribe for free or pay for premium content. It's like having your own little media company. I started writing about the same stuff I talk about in my videos. What it's like to start over at 54. How to actually make money without a traditional job. The emotional side of it that nobody talks about. And I didn't charge anything at first. I just wrote. And people started subscribing and emailing me and telling me their stories. There was this woman named Linda who emailed me after my third post. She's 61. Got let go from an administrative role she'd had for 17 years. And she said, I've been reading every positive thinking article I can find, and none of them help. But your writing helps, because you're not pretending it's easy. And that email meant more to me than any freelance payment I ever received. After about 2 months, I turned on paid subscriptions, $5 a month or $50 a year. And I was terrified. I thought, who would pay me to write? But they did. Right now, I have about 380 free subscribers and 28 paid subscribers. In the last 3 months, Substack has paid me about $410. After their 10% cut, I keep around $369. That's about $123 a month. And I know that's not a lot. But here's what matters. It's recurring. Those 28 people pay me again next month, and the month after that. And as my audience grows from YouTube, those numbers go up. If I get to 100 paid subscribers, that's around $450 a month. 200 subscribers, that's $900. And that changes everything. This is what I mean by building once and getting paid many times. One newsletter post takes me an hour or two, but it earns money every single month from everyone who's subscribed. That's the opposite of the freelance marketplace, where every dollar requires a new proposal, a new pitch, a new race to the bottom. Substack works globally. People can subscribe from any country. Now here's where it gets interesting. The third piece is digital products. I took the best content from my newsletter and my videos, the practical stuff, the step-by-step guides, and I turned them into digital products, templates, checklists. A workshop I recorded on building income streams after a layoff. I sell these on my own website and on Etsy. And the beauty of digital products is that you make them once and sell them forever. There's no inventory, no shipping, no sourcing. I've made about $290 from digital product sales over the last couple of months. After Etsy's fees and payment processing, I keep around $240. And I took one of my guides, a workbook on pivoting after a layoff, and I published it on Amazon through KDP Kindle Direct Publishing. It's a print-on-demand service, so I don't have to buy copies up front. Someone orders it, Amazon prints it, and I get a royalty. That's brought in about $85 so far. Not life-changing, but it's another stream. And it's another thing working for me while I sleep. For people outside the US, both Etsy and KDP work internationally. Etsy has some extra complexity with customs and VAT if you're shipping physical goods, but digital products are straightforward. I also added something small but steady. In every newsletter post and every video description, I include links to tools and resources I actually use. An affordable microphone, the editing software I learned on, books that helped me. And those are affiliate links. When someone buys through my link, I earn a small commission. It's not much, maybe $30 to $50 a month, but it adds up, and I'm not pushing anything I don't genuinely use. And then there's eBay. I still sell things on eBay when I need quick cash. I go to garage sales on weekends, pick up things I can flip. Old electronics, vintage items, tools. Last month, I made about $140 from eBay after fees and shipping. There was this one estate sale I went to a few weeks back. An older man was selling his late wife's things. Craft supplies mostly, yarn, fabric, buttons in old tins, and he told me she'd always planned to open a little shop someday. She was going to do it after I retired, he said, but I kept working, and then she got sick. And I stood there holding a box of her fabric, and I thought, that's the story, isn't it? We keep waiting, and then we run out of time. So eBay is my quick cash backup, not my strategy. Because you can't scale picking through boxes at estate sales. It's trading time for money, which is exactly what I'm trying to get away from. Now, if you're wondering how to actually start all this, let me give you the 30-day plan I followed. Week 1. I set up my Substack and wrote a Start Here post, explaining who I am and what I'm writing about. And I filmed my first YouTube video. Just a story. Just me talking. Week 2. I wrote a practical post, a checklist, something useful people could save and share. And I made another video walking through real numbers. People love seeing real numbers. Week 3. I took my best content and turned it into my first digital product, a simple PDF guide. I launched it to my email list first, then listed it on Etsy. Week 4, I converted that guide into a KDP workbook. I listed 5 things on eBay for quick cash, and I added a Work With Me page to my website with affiliate links and a way for people to hire me for consulting. That was it. 4 weeks, and by the end of it, I had 5 income streams running. None of them were making a lot, but they were all making something, and they were all connected. Okay, before I add everything up, I need to talk about something nobody else covers, and that's benefits. Because if you're over 50, this isn't just about income. It's about not destroying your safety net. Health insurance. This is the one that keeps me up at 3 a.m. When I got laid off, Cobra was $890 a month. Just for me. I kept it for 2 months, and then I couldn't anymore. I switched to the ACA marketplace, and because my income is low, I qualified for subsidies. I'm paying about $195 a month now, but the subsidy is based on what I estimate I'll earn this year, and I honestly don't know what I'll make. So I guessed, and if I guessed wrong, I could owe money at tax time. Money I don't have, and I'm 54. I've got 11 years until Medicare. 11 years of hoping nothing goes seriously wrong with my body. I had a scare 2 months ago. Sharp pain in my side that lasted 3 days. And I didn't go to the doctor. Because I was afraid of the bill. And I know that's not smart. But that's where I am. I think about a guy I used to work with. His name was Victor. He was 59 when they let him go. Last I heard, he was doing gig delivery work. No insurance, just counting the days until 65. Just trying to make it to Medicare. And that terrifies me, because that could be me. Social Security. I'm not collecting yet, I'm only 54. But if you're closer to 62, you need to know about the earnings limit. In 2024, if you earn more than about $21,240 while collecting Social Security early, they start clawing back benefits. So keep track of what you're making from all these streams. If you're outside the US, you probably don't have to deal with most of this. If you're in the UK or Canada or most of Europe, healthcare isn't tied to your employment status. You're fortunate. But for those of us here, this is everything. Okay, let me add it all up. YouTube, about $127 a month. Substack, $123. Digital products and KDP, around $108. Affiliates, maybe $40. eBay, about $140. Total, roughly $538 a month. My rent is $1,050. Health insurance is $195. Car insurance is $85. Groceries are about $280. Utilities are $130. So I need about $1,740 a month, and I'm making $538. I'm short about $1,200, and I'm covering that gap with savings, which are shrinking. So no, I haven't figured it all out. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have. But here's what's different now. 6 months ago, I was making $2 an hour on freelance platforms and hating every minute of it. Now I'm building something, and every single one of these streams is growing. My Substack subscribers are growing. My YouTube audience is growing. My digital products are selling more each month than the month before. It's slow, but it's compounding. And more importantly, I own all of it. No algorithm deciding if I'm worth showing to clients. No race to the bottom. No biddings against 10,000 strangers for $15. I spent 19 years building someone else's brand, and then they cut me loose and forgot my name in a week. I'm not doing that again. I'm building something that's mine, where my experience is an asset, not a liability, where people come to me because they trust me, not because I'm cheap. And maybe it won't be enough. Maybe I'll run out of savings before these streams catch up. I don't know. But I think about Victor, trying to survive until Medicare. I think about Jean, designing logos for $20 after 25 years in the business. I think about Linda, who just needed someone to tell her it's okay to be scared. And I think about all of you, watching this right now, wondering if there's another way. There is. It's not easy, it's not fast, but it's real, and it's yours. So here's what I want you to do. If you're still grinding on a freelance marketplace, getting outbid and underpaid, leave a comment and tell me which platform you're leaving behind. And if you want the step-by-step pivot checklist I've been using, I put it on my Substack. It's free. Link is in the description, because we don't have unlimited time, and I'm not going to spend what's left competing for scraps. The future is unwritten, and I get to write that story now. So do you. I'm Daniel Whitford,